Hey everyone, welcome in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes Day by Day. Thanks for being here. What's going on, everybody? Today was Sunday. It was an interesting day. Interesting day. We had the former foster baby's birthday party today, or the former foster son's birthday party today. So that was good. And then my wife went and took the kids to a picnic. I stayed here because I wanted to watch the UFO championship games. I mean, the UFO. So the USFL conference and the XFL conference championship games. Both were good. Both were pretty much exactly what I figured. Um, Really nice to see the Birmingham Stallions finally lose a conference championship game. I think that was much needed for the league because I don't think it's good that there's not a lot of competition in this league. So, I mean, I like Birmingham, but because the league's so new, it needs to have a changing of the guard. And so Birmingham got beat. And so for the first time ever, Birmingham is not going to be in the championship game, which means Birmingham, of course, can't win the championship. So next Sunday, it's going to be the Michigan Panthers against my DC Defenders in St. Louis. And I'm happy that DC won because like if you're a St. Louis fans, the St. Louis fans that I encounter are they're just I don't know. I don't know what to say. But for me, they're a pretty big turnoff. And so I'm very happy to see that my defenders are going to be there against the Panthers. And I don't dislike the Panthers. I'm just, for whatever reason, since these leagues started, I've been a Defenders fan. Um, I should say, when the because the UFL started a year before the whatever. Anyway, I'm a big fan of the Jordan Tayamo quarterback led DC Defenders because back when these spring leagues started, I was a fan of the Bandits because I was a Tampa Bay Bandits, which were only around for one year. He was a Tampa Bay team, and he happened to be the quarterback that 1 year. And but then they changed the Bandits to something else, and I'm like, okay. They made them the Memphis Showboats, which are still around, and I'm like, okay. I'm just not a fan. But so DC, and I'm very happy DC's there, and I'm looking forward to a heck of a game. And I don't know if I probably haven't talked about this a whole lot, but they've been flirting with expansion, talking about expansion. And then it was a little disheartening today to see them sort of step back on that because from what I saw today, there were just talk and just speculations that they might not expand, which it's like I thought that these leagues should have expanded because when the two leagues merged, and I won't get too far into the weeds on this. I'll try not to anyway. But when the two leagues, the USFL and the XFL, merged, they only brought so each team had eight teams in each league, and so there were a total of 16 teams, and they only brought 8 of those. And I felt that was a mistake. I think that they should have brought at least 12. And they're complaining about people not going, attendance being low, and viewership being low, and it's like, well, what do you expect if you only have 8 teams? I mean, like the only people that you're getting to watch are going to be the people that are invested or the spring football diehards like myself. And I had, And I'm like, you're not going to get other people to watch if they don't have a reason to watch. Like if you're a fan, like if you're a person that, like if where I live, if I didn't have an investment in a team already, and I didn't really like spring football, I probably wouldn't watch. So if you like live in Georgia and you're not invested in a team, and you're not a Birmingham fan or a team of another one, why would you watch? If your team in California, the closest, I mean, if you're in California or if you're in the West in general, then your closest team is in Texas, because there are no teams on the West Coast. So it's like, and there was some speculation they were going to put a team back in Seattle, but because of the World Cup next year, they don't think that they can do that. And so it's like, well, there's been speculation about Columbus, and I think that would be a great idea. And there's talk of Tom Brady, who, if you don't know who Tom Brady is, I can't really help you, wanting to put a team back in Tampa. And so it's like, what are you doing? And you know, because I think, you know, either put a team on the West Coast somewhere, and it doesn't have to be Seattle, but if you want to wait, if you want it to be Seattle, well, then I guess we got to wait. But I mean, there's other places there's places on the West Coast other than Seattle, right? So you really don't have to put it in Seattle. But you know, I think Columbus would create a rivalry with Michigan, and you know, I think Tom saying that he wants to be on a Tampa Bay team, I think that'd be good. I think that Orlando would be a better venue myself, but you know, um, and just because if the Rays are having problems pulling people in Tampa, then you're probably not going to get a lot of people coming to watch the UFL in Tampa. That's my thinking. But if Tom's going to pay for it, let Tom pay for it. So that's where I stand. But yeah, I mean, if you want to, and it's good football. You know, it's not the best, especially in the early weeks, because the defenses are far better than the offenses in the early weeks. But as the season progresses, you get better and better play. I would say that it really starts to really get good around week 4, which was probably Thanksgiving-ish, maybe. No, Easter. Sorry, Thanksgiving. Which was around the Easter time period was probably when it really hit its stride. And then it was good until the teams in the playoffs clinched, and then it kind of, you know, once they did that, you know, the lower teams were still playing for their lives, but the playoff teams had already decided to start sitting players and resting them and all this good stuff. But you know, there were two teams that took. Well, there was one team that took a big step back from last year, and that was San Antonio. They were really good last year, and this year they took a giant step back. And then Houston, after they found their quarterback, which it took them a while to find their actual quarterback. Well, once they did, they started playing really good. Memphis is still struggling mightily, and they need to keep improving. And then Arlington, good as always, but they just weren't good enough. And then, was it somebody? No, there's only 4. So San Antonio, Arlington, Houston, and Memphis are the other 4 teams. But really, I really think that they should expand. I really think that expanding would be great for them, and not expanding would be detrimental to them because I just think that I really feel like they need to expand. I really feel like I wanted both of the leagues to expand after their first years, and they haven't. And I understand cost cutting, but it's like if you want to see more people watch, then you've got to put up some. You've got to give them something they want to watch, and if they don't want to watch the teams you have now, then moving them is not a good idea. I mean, I would just, why can't you just leave the teams where they are because they're thinking about moving some of them? And I think that's a mistake. And it's like, why don't you just add at least two more? At least two more. Give them a good head coach. Give them a good team. And let them figure it out. Give them 2 years, and then if they can't figure it out in 2 years, well, then figure something else out. But if, like I said, if Tom wants to pay for it, let Tom pay for it. And, let it go from there. And just don't be negative. Anyway, I know it's in the works, so that's going to be my only UFL talk for now, so we'll move on. Still working on what we've been working on as far as Vanguard. Still trying to make our way because we need to get these Vanguards done before the raid, because how long have they been talking about it? We're going into officially this week, we're going to head into mid-June. I'm thinking, and so we've got a couple weeks before DIPA, and, maybe another week and a half, 10 days until DIPA and Master Mace get here. And then after that, it's going to be pirate time. So I think we're in this 2-3 week window where I think we're going to want to be surprised if we get news about the raid this week. And then, I highly expect that to happen. And then, as far as all the confirmed factions, and then, I think we could get green lighted for raid, before this time next month. I think they'll do it. I think they'll do it before July 4th or right after July 4th is when they'll go live. And if I had to say, I would say probably before, because they want to get their bugs worked out if they're going, before July 4th. And if it doesn't happen until after, well then, what are you going to do? But let's see what we got going on in GC. Probably. Okay. That's nothing really scary there because. And then what? Okay, well. I just know what to do for this because I beat it with. This is a weaker team. Well, it might be. I don't know. We'll see. I think we're fine. I could be wrong. I don't even. I quite possibly could not have the Zeta on here because I didn't check. Because I just was like, let's throw up in here. And I really may not have the Zeta on there, so if I don't, that's my bad. But yeah, we didn't have the Zeta on there. Did we? Well, I don't think we did. That's my bad. Anyway. Just kind of wasted that because I don't even remember. And so I'm like, thought I was going to use. Can we? All right, we're going to try to pick this up here. Because I think this will work. I think I used Captain Han in some raid team. I don't know if it was in here or somewhere else in GSC, but oh yeah, this is Cruise. Might have been overkill, but at least we got a dub. Let's see what's back here. Oh, why? And this, why didn't they have? Never mind. All of you are like, why aren't you attacking? And I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I'm hoping that we have time to finish because we're not that far away. I mean, we kind of we're not. It's not like we're close. But if I can get Barris and Kelleron done, and then I'll be okay with if I can't get to Ayla, because I think Ayla, I don't, Ayla wasn't in the last raid, so I can see her being more. Well, I mean, all of these are JV, and so they're going to be used at some point, but definitely would love to be able to get Barris and Kelleron done before the raid starts. And then if we need to, we can still look at Ayla and Shakti. But I think between the two, Shakti is going to be the one that you're going to need a little bit more. So it's possible we won't need Ayla, in which case it'll be fine. But if we do end up needing Ayla, because my plan right now is just to do Barris and Kelleron and Ayla and Shakti. I mean, and then move on to whoever else after that. But that's the plan. Doesn't mean it's the right plan, but that's the plan. Which is why I'm not using more Zetas right now, because I want to see what happens. But we don't know right now, and we're trying to figure it out. So I'm just gonna keep my powder dry, wait until we get more information about the raid, and then I'll make an educated guess. My best, figure out what we're doing after that, I guess. Anyway, I thank you all so much for being here. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, you know what to do. As always, feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. Hold the line, because we don't want to get overrun, even though it is factual that we have friends everywhere. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate all of you. Have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.